Titanic was one of the most expensive films filmed in the 20th century. It cost around $200 million. The Titanic is a suspenseful love story written and directed by James Cameron. First, I will give you a summary of the movie. Next, I will explain the ending of the movie, and finally, I will show you my alternate ending. To begin, let me show you a clip of the Titanic.
Titanic was called the ship of dreams, and it was. It really was.
All right, open your eyes.
We got full ahead! Put your backs into it!
Got everything I need right here with me. I figured life's a gift, and I don't intend on wasting it. You never know what hand you're gonna get dealt next. You learn to take life as it comes at you.
When the ship docks, I'm getting off with you. God Almighty.
This is it! Hold on! Do not let go of my hand!
I'll never let go.
Okay, so as you can see, the movie starts off with a treasure hunter named Brock looking for a necklace which has a gem that's really rare called the Heart of the Diamond in it. And he knows that it's in the Titanic because he finds a picture of a woman wearing it. And so that was kind of broadcasted on news, and an elderly woman comes and tells her granddaughter that that woman was her. And so her granddaughter contacts Brock, and they get sent out to the ship to find it, or to help them find it. And so she tells Brock about her life on the Titanic. So Rose got on the Titanic with her fiance Cal and her mother, and then while they were boarding, a man named Jack Dawson was playing a card game and ended up winning a ticket on the Titanic in the third class. So that night, Rose went to dinner, and she realized that this isn't the life she wants or likes, and was sick of living in the life of luxury. So she leaves dinner and runs to the end of the boat and decides that she's gonna jump off of it. So while she was running, she sees Jack, and Jack sees her, and Jack was confused because she's dressed in really nice clothes and running away from something. So she goes and follows her, and then follows her to the end of the boat where he sees her climbing over the edge, and where he persuades her to not jump off the boat. But before he can get her over, she slips and is falling, but he still caught her, and so she's screaming. So some of the boat officials hear her screaming and run to get her. So then Jack gets her over, but they both fell down after pulling, and so the officials think that he was attacking her because he's a third-class citizen and she's a first class. But it comes when everyone's there, she tells them that no, she was actually just looking over the edge and she slipped, and so Jack saved her. So Cal, her fiance, gives him money, but then Rose gets mad at Cal because her life isn't just worth money. So then they invite him to dinner the next day. So Jack goes to dinner and feels very unwanted, and so he ends up leaving when the boys leave, but doesn't go with them. But he gives Rose a note saying to meet him at the clock. So Rose leaves and meets him at the clock, and then they end up going to a third-class party where Rose feels a lot more at home and that she can just be who she is without having to hold any standards. And that's where she finds out that she really has feelings for Jack, but she has a fiance, so she's not going to do anything with the feelings. And then the next day, they go to the bow of the boat, and at sunset, they have like a romantic moment, and they realize that they both love each other. And so she brings him back into her room and shows him the necklace that Cal gave her, which was the heart of the ocean. And so then she asks him to draw her because he's a really good artist. And so after they're done, they put the heart of the ocean back in the safe and along with the picture. And then one of Cal's like butlers / bodyguards comes, and they have to run away from him. So they go and they kind of explore the boat while they're trying to get away from him. And once they got away, they go back up to the first main deck, and they see the Titanic hit an iceberg. So then they go down to tell Cal and everyone that they just hit an iceberg, but Cal doesn't care because he found the picture and was pretty upset. And so he ends up placing the diamond in Jack's pocket and accuse him of stealing it. So then some officials take him down to the office, and they handcuff him to a pole as the ship starts to sink. So there's water flooding, and they just leave him there to die. And then Rose comes and saves him, and finds out where he is and saves him. And then they go back up to the first main deck to try to find lifeboats, and they found one for Rose, but the two boys couldn't go on because they're only taking women and children. And so she gets on, but then she realizes that she couldn't live her life without Jack, so she jumps off the lifeboat. And then Cal and Jack go and get her, and then Cal gives her his sweatshirt or coat because he's cold, and in his coat pocket he has the heart of the diamond, heart of the ocean, and then he gets really mad and realizes that Rose is going to go with Jack and not her, so then he starts to chase them and tries to shoot them both, but they get away. So he decides that it's not worth it, and he will just be fine without her, and because he's rich and has enough money, and he was only marrying her for money. And so he finds a lifeboat, and the other two don't, and so then they stay on the ship until it sinks. So now that you know the summary of the movie, let me tell you the actual ending. So in the actual ending, the boat, the ship sinks, and Rose and Jack only find a piece of board that's buoyant enough to lift one of them. So Jack stays in the water because he wanted Rose to have the board, and then Rose wakes up to hearing whistles, and so she tries to wake Jack up, and he has died of hypothermia because he's in the ocean. And so she gets rescued, and she's on the ship, and she is asked like what her name is in the morning, and she just says Rose Dawson, which is Jack's last name and not her own. And she lives life as Rose Dawson and never meets her family again. And then later on she learned that Cal actually committed suicide in the 1929 Wall Street crash because he lost everything. And so once Brock hears the story, he realizes that he wants her to have it because she still has the diamond. And at the end, she ends up throwing it back over the Titanic wreck because that's where Jack would be, and she wanted him to have it. So now that you know the actual ending, let me tell you my alternative ending. In my alternative ending, Cal does not get a lifeboat, and he actually ends up jumping off as the boat is sinking and then dies because a scrap of metal falls on him, so he dies. And Rose and Jack both find two pieces of wood that are buoyant enough for them to both float on. So then they both get saved, and then Jack pursues his artistry, and then they have enough money to live comfortably because Rose doesn't like a life of luxury, even though his artwork could be worth a lot more. So in conclusion, I first have told you the summary of the story for the movie. Next, I explained the actual ending, and then I gave you my alternative ending. And in the end, all movies and books are meant to be rewritten.